on comparing rates. When you compare rates, you must compare the same units. That's why we label. Notice here we're comparing pizzas to sodas. Pizzas to sodas is not the same as comparing soda to pizzas. This is why we write our labels over here, pizzas to sodas, and we would say it's 5 to 2. That way when we write our other ratio, we know where to write it. Well, sodas go down here and pizza goes up here. So remember, make sure that whatever way you label this is labeled, you write your ratio accordingly. That's why labeling is so important. So let's take a look at comparing rates. To compare rates, you have to find the unit rate. So let's ask ourselves, is the ratio or the rate of 5 pizzas to 2 sodas, is that equal to 3 pizzas to 1 soda? Or is it 5 pizzas to 2 sodas, is that equal to 2.5 to 1? Well, the way to find that out is to find that equivalent ratio. It is not equal. Well, how do we know? Well, the unit rate is 1, so how do I turn 2 into 1? I'm going to divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. Therefore, if I divide this by 2 as well, 2 divided by 2 does equal 1, but 5 divided by 2 does not equal 3. So if we found the unit rate, we can find out that a ratio of 5 to 2 is not equal to 3 to 1. It's 2.5 to 1. Let's take a look at some examples from one of these practice pages here. So if we have calculate the cost of 12 golf balls, and this says at $5 each, that sounds like a unit rate here. So we're comparing money to golf balls. And if it's $5 for 1, we can find how many is it for 12. Where do we write the 12? Do we write it as $12 or 12 golf balls? Well, it says 12 golf balls, so we write the 12 down here. How do I turn 1 into 12? I multiply by 12. So 1 times 12 is 12. 5 times 12 is 60. So this one here is $60 for 12 golf balls. Let's take a look at this one right here. 2 for $6. Well, first of all, we have to find out how much it is for 1. So we have 6. Let's write our labeling down. $6 for how many golf balls? $6 for 2. I need to convert that into 1. How do I turn 2 into 1? I divide by 2 over 2. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So this gives me a unit rate of 3 for 1. And how do I turn? I need to rewrite my labels down. Golf balls, or dollars to golf balls. If I have a unit rate of 3 to 1, I need to find out how many it is for 12. How do I turn 1 into 12? 1 times 12 is 12. 3 times 12 is 36. So this here is $36 for 12 golf balls, and you can go on and make that comparison until you find out which one is the cheapest golf balls. The question here is to find a unit price and determine which is a better buy. 1 pound of apples for $2.15 or 3 pounds of apples for $5.76. So there are two ratios here, comparing dollars to pounds. Dollars to pounds. Two different ratios. Here's ratio 1, or rate 1. and here is rate 2. Which one of these is a better buy? Which one is cheaper? Why did I write dollars to pounds? Well, because it doesn't want to know how much for $1. It wants to know how much for 1 pound. That's the unit rate. Usually you buy things by the pound, not by the dollar. You could do it the other way, but the math is a little harder. I'll go ahead and show you both ways. But let me show you this way first. Dollars to pounds, dollars to pounds. So the first one, they already give you a unit rate, $2.15 for 1 pound. That was also how I what also helped me know that I should write it like this. It already gives me a unit rate. I know how much it cost for 1 pound. So my unit rate for the second one, we don't know yet because it's 3 pounds for $5.76. So we need to make that into a unit rate. So we want to find out how much for 1 pound. How do I turn 3 into 1? I'm going to divide by 3. So magic 1 of 3 over 3. 3 divided by 3 equals 1. So that's correct. And it's $5.76 divided by 3. So 5.76. Divide that by 3. 5 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. Bring down the 7. 3 goes, and don't forget we have to put a decimal here. 3 goes into 27 9 times. 9 times 3 is 27. And that's 0. Bring down the 6. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. So $1.92 for 1 pound. This rate is the better buy because it's cheaper. For 1 pound, it's only going to cost me $1.92, whereas for 1 pound of these apples, it's going to cost me $2.15. So this one here is cheaper. So for tonight's homework, you're going to have to set up and find 2 unit rates to compare them. This, they already gave you a unit rate. If they did not give you this as a unit rate, you would have to turn it into a unit rate just like you did this one. So in this problem, problem number 4, you only had to solve one of these as a unit rate and then compare them. Which one is cheaper? Some of the homework, they're going to want you to find which one costs the most or which one is the most. And some of them, they want you to find which one is cheaper. So make sure you read it. Make sure you label it. Make sure you compare it. Turn them into unit rates. And that way you can find out which one is the better buy. And make sure on your homework you identify which one of these is the better buy. This one right here. The rate of 3 pounds for $5.76. Well, I showed you how to make the comparison for dollars to pounds, and I said you could do it the other way. So let's talk a little bit about that. Instead of dollars to pounds, we will compare pounds. By the way, those of you who are not familiar with this, LB is the abbreviation for pounds. We're going to compare pounds to dollars. So 1 pound of apples for $2.15. So let's write that a little clearer there, $2.15. Well, we need to find out for how much for $1. So how do I turn $2.15 into $1? I would have to divide by $2.15. 215 divided by 215 does equal 1, but now I have 1 divided by $2.15. So I have to have 1 divided by 215. I need to have my decimal here, and I'm obviously going to need some zeros. So I'm going to, as I always do with decimals, I'm going to move, when I divide decimals, I'm going to move my decimal over to here. If I move it 2 places to get it here, I have to move it 2 places here. So we're going to rewrite our decimal location is right here and right here. And if I write it here, I have to write it right up there. Let's erase this here so it's out of our way. Don't know if there we go. We can erase that too. So now I have 215, or 100.0 divided by 215. So 215 will not go in there. It goes in 0 times. So will 215 go into 1,000? Well, 200 will go into 1,000 5 times. So it's got to go in about 4 times. Can't go in 5 because this is more than 200. So 4 times 215 is going to be, let's make sure we do our math correctly. So we'll go ahead and do this, because remember, you're always smarter with a pencil and paper than you are just in your head alone. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 8. I'm sorry, plus 2 is 6. Let's make sure we get this right. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. And then 4 times 2 is 8, so 860. And so 860. And we have to borrow. That's going to be a 9. That's going to be a 9. That's going to be a 1 there. 10 minus 0. I'm sorry, I really didn't need to go that far. I could just leave that as 10. 0 minus 0 is 0. 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 140. 215 does not go into 140, so we have to find out how many times it goes into 1400. Well, 200 goes into 1400 7 times, so it's going to be less than that. It'll probably be about 6 times 250. And you can see that our answer is going to be like 0.46, however many decimal places we have to go to 1 to get our unit rate this way. So this here is a much more challenging way of doing it. You could do this, but remember, you have to label correctly and you have to do your math correctly, and you could do that, but here in this case it's much easier to do it dollars to pounds. It's just a whole lot easier to figure out, especially since they already gave you a unit rate here.